All right, y'all, I'm getting into it. What is happening? It's the 101 Supervillain series here with me, your resident supervillain, as the sweatshirt says, Mr. J. Washington. It's the April edition. I'm recording this on Easter. Yes, it's in the midst of all the holidays. And as a Christian child, and back in the day, I would be so happy to have my basket and celebrate the resurrection of Jesus because of a bunny and chocolate. That's neither here nor there. I am talking to the beautiful, wonderful Jolene. How are you, dear?
I mean, I don't feel like I was lazy today. Didn't do the makeup. So so I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
this is a face.
we all have those days. Trust me. I got in from work last night about 2:30, and I got up this morning, and I was like, when I got up, I looked at my phone. It was like 10. I was like, wait, what? Because I normally am up like 7, 8 o'clock. So I was like, did I miss an alarm or something? So I'm right now. I've been sitting in front of my computer, supposed to be trying to edit the script, and I just was like, I don't feel like doing shit. I just
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So when I'm like lazy, I just was like, my body's like, yo, we're good. We're
Yeah.
good. How have you been?
Oh, good. Like yesterday was like beautiful mid 60s. Today was 40s.
You know what? Between y'all on the East Coast, Chicago getting snow last week, uh California. Look, LA weather is nice, but it's been weird too. Like all of a sudden, a couple of days we had 90 degrees. I know it's bragging. I get it. But when it goes from just 90 back down to 60 the next day, that's that's when it gets weird. That's how you get sick real quick
Yep. Yeah.
and things like that. And so, we've been dealing with that out here. Like it was a couple of days. I actually had to turn on my air conditioner, and I was like, "That's not good. It's too early to be."
Oh, yeah, no, like there was Wednesday and Thursday where it was like high 70s, 80 degrees. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Why?
because you don't know. You're like, this is how when people always say when you have those idiots who try to be like climate change and global warming isn't real. I'm always like, this is happening to the weather. What are you talking about?
It's just people just don't want to listen to anything.
I don't know. I just like I said, I've been just replaying Insecure in the background just because I like the format of the show, and so it helps me to write because I'm listening to the dialogue, the format, and it just helps me better picture out what I'm trying to write for a pilot. And I actually was on a little bit of a high. One of my buddies who's working on a pilot that's about to get working on a TV show that's about to get picked up and announced. He read a couple of my pilots. He was like, "Yo, I just started reading one." He was like, "You should definitely be." He was like, "You know how to write. You should be in a writer's room." I was, "What the fuck?" I've been. But
It's like,
he was at my job last night, and of course I work as a bouncer. So I'm on the dance floor, like that's what the fuck I've been trying to do. They're like, "Yo, what the hell is wrong with it?"
if only it was so easy.
That's the one thing about these industries out here. Winston and I talk about it. Well, we don't talk about it fully in depth on the show, but people don't get how people try to act as if it's secretive to try to get in some of these jobs. Like if it's this big, we don't want to tell you because we may reveal our tips and see tricks and trades. It's like I'm not. It's the same thing for lack of better words, and I don't want to fully go into it unless you do with wrestling. I'm not trying to take your spot if your spot is good. Your spot should be safe. Don't
Mhm.
worry about me. Let me come in and do my own thing. And that's how I feel with writing. Like I'm trying to just, write on some shows and stuff I know about. Just, sit in the writer's room, take everybody's ideas, put that together, and just let this mental schizophrenia that happens when you have to write a pilot come to be because you got to make a bunch of different voices in your head. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, that's like, the grind and hustle of like, all right, well, I gotta keep trying, I guess.
mhm. Yeah, people make you want to have to you're trying and hustle. Again, trying to hustle is never a bad thing. It's actually funny because even before I was writing, I was making a 30-second ad for blurs to put on Instagram, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to like. The hardest part is trying to figure out how do I make a 30-second ad, and I can't really have us talking because it'll kind of take away from it. So I just got to pick like certain clips of us just laughing and joking. That's all I can do.
I
And
know,
then
it's like a 30-second ad for a podcast, and even a video one, is like, I'm like, because I've started up a podcast. Like, we started recording this past week, and I'm like,
Nice.
should I make a trailer? I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like, what the hell do I do? It's mostly visual, so like, how's that gonna work?
Well, and the thing is, what the crazy part is, like the audio version of the podcast is, it's always weird to me because we got a lot of audio listeners to the podcast, and I always wonder, like, what are their expressions when they're just listening to something they can't
Dead silence,
see.
reaction horrors.
Right. And again, I'm not mad at all by any stretch of the imagination. It is just very, I,
Yeah,
you think,
like what we're doing is this instinctively visual, because like it's called Divas of Design,
mhm,
where we are like getting like lists of three, with links to the images included of designs that they want to hear us discuss and talk about, and then we're going
mhm,
to rank them in our list of designs. Like we're started off because like we're the Divas, we had the baseline. The WWE Divas Championship was the first design that we ranked. So like it's
the
just the first
butterfly
thing.
belt.
Yes, the butterfly vagina. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I never fucking thought about that part. And I was
The
like,
It's got a big V.
it's a big,
And it's like curved.
you're so right. Whoever designed that belt knew what the hell they were doing.
It's insane. But like so like all right, so you can only go up from here for the most part. So but like, we're like we're describing the images obviously, but like it's easier for people to watch cuz you share screen through
Mhm.
StreamYard and like all right, okay, we can see what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it's like people who tell, like, I look at the download numbers every week and I'm like, we got faithful people who listen to the audio. And it's like it's a good thing. And so also, promoting the live show.
Is that what you use, StreamYard, for
Mm,
the blurs? Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause
so
once I
just like
saw,
what
oh, I could just download the audio too.
that's
Alright, there we go.
literally what I do. Because everybody was like, "What do you do? Do you record it separately?" I was like, "No, StreamYard." Once we started really understanding StreamYard, as we started, once I realized this shit was better than Zoom, first and foremost, I was like,
It's
"I will
cheaper.
forever use this."
It's way cheaper too.
Way cheaper. Yeah, okay. I don't possibly get 1,000 people in a Zoom. I don't need 1,000 people.
Yeah, so, like, my thoughts on StreamYard versus Zoom for podcasting, StreamYard all the way.
Hmm.
Like, for when I play online role-playing games with people, Zoom is just visually much better. It's just aesthetically more pleasing for,
Yeah,
like, a
yeah, yeah.
group of 5 to 6 people because, like, unless you do full screen on StreamYard, like, you've got just so much wasted space on the screen.
Yeah, that's true.
But, like, Zoom, that's fine, but that's not for podcasting, so,
Yeah,
like
and especially with all the different, like, not even just the overlays and the clips and stuff, but they've made things so they keep updating StreamYard because they've realized how many people started to use it. So they start making it so much more user friendly.
oh, yeah,
Like,
like, when I was, like, testing things out, like, you go over to the brand thing, I'm like, "Oh, here's the
mhm,
little 30-second countdown." You can,
uh-huh.
like, add overlays, which, like I knew you had one, I'm like, "Alright, I'll just buy a cheap one until I figure out how to make one or we get our own, like,
Like
design."
this one for the 101s I made. I just was like, fuck it, I'll do something real quick. But the one for Blurs in the Hood, Jake Icavetta made for us. He did those for us. So it was like cool. And so, having those, and then when you realize the brands, we've got we've got two different Blurs in the Hood brands. But then we have Blurs in the Hood, Blurs in the Hood 2, Blurs After Dark.
Mhm.
There's the Swaggy Blurred in here, and then there's the Mad Titan Podcast, mine. But the Blurs in the Hood, the reason we had to make a 2 was because of all the clips. It just got too many for one brand. I was like, well, let's just make another one. And now they have it too, where if you pay for another upgrade, which we're gonna do for the live show, you can make it where it has multiple cameras on one account.
Oh, okay.
So instead of just like two different, because what we normally do, like when we normally do blurs, is Winston on his, and we're both in the same account. We're both on the same account, but we're in two different locations. And even when we were sitting together for a while, we would be doing the same thing, but it would be two different cameras. Now we can just have one computer run two cameras, and so
Okay.
we gotta get a
Yeah, it
lot of
makes it
stuff.
way easier for when you're in the same room together.
Because we were gonna do that to try to set it up, like when we just did the last Thursday, but that was so last minute, last Tuesday, excuse me. But that was so last minute to decide to be together to do the show together. It was like because we've gotten so because he works, and so it's and we're not close per se. We're like 30 minutes apart. And it's like if you really want to plan it because of the way LA traffic is, we gotta plan
Mm-hmm.
one way or the other. Like we got to really be like, yo, you can't. It can't be 5:10 and be like, yo, come this way, because neither one is making it.
Mm.
Either way. So, yeah. So that's been that. I'm getting ready to go after this. My buddy and two of my buddies are opening a food truck. He's a
Oh,
chef.
cool.
He's opening a food truck and he's doing the food tasting thing. But the crazy thing is, like, he's a hilarious comedian. He's fucking hysterical, and he's also an IT expert. And so, but one of his things he likes to do is cook. And I was just like, it must be nice to have these amazing talents where you're just like, I don't need to use this one right now. I don't need to use that one. I'm gonna open a food truck. Like, and I was like, hey, if it works, but he's been a good buddy of mine for a lot for years since Chicago. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's a comic by the name of Sean White. And Sean, his whole family pretty much died, unfortunately, and he made a whole album called Dead and Gone, where he talks about how his family died, and it's so dark yet hilarious. You're like, why am I laughing at this? And then you think about it, laugh at your pain, laugh at their pain. And
Yeah, I mean, like, so similarly, we went out for a birthday dinner this past Sat. My sister took my dad and myself out
Mhm.
for belated birthday dinners, and we went to a steakhouse, and we made jokes about choking. So, like, I'm like, I guess it's good that we can laugh about
So
this
now you're
now.
healing. You're healing when
Yeah,
you can make those jokes, and
yeah.
that's good.
My dad pitched going to the place where she choked. I'm like, no, no.
Out the gate. No.
Like, insane, crazy.
Like out of all, like there's a bunch of other places. I don't know if you saw what I literally had just posted this on Twitter before we jumped on. I've come to a conclusion what type of security guard in nightclubs I'm gonna be now. I'm gonna be the help. I'm gonna be like a helpful Honda security guy. I'm gonna carry packets of liquid IV around for when people are with their friends when they super fucked up and just be like, give them this. Because I'm tired of helping carry super drunk ass people out the club. Like there was a one girl last night. She was cool, and I like because they had some bands or something play before the nightclub happened, and she had been drinking already, and I could tell she was already buzzed. It got late in the night. She was on the couch, one of the couches like this, and they were trying to give her water. I was like, I'm letting y'all in on a secret. She passed the water phase. Like water don't help anymore. Like you see people get. That's one thing about the nightclub life. Like I get people want to go out, want to party, want to kick it, et cetera, have a few drinks. But when you get to the point where you've got to be carried out by people, there's an issue.
Yeah, look, it's got to be an age thing, right? I feel like it's an age thing. I want to believe it's an age thing.
Yeah, okay, that's the best line. I want to believe it's an age thing because you would think like, okay, after some people get to their mid-30s or whatever, they don't want to deal with that. I've seen people my age be like, yo, we finna get fucked up. And I'm like, bro, your liver's not gonna agree with you tomorrow. Like, what are you
Like,
doing?
and it's funny because part of me is like, yeah, but I'm going through puberty again, so I kind of deserve to get to party and get messed up.
I mean, right? If you're so, yes, that's true. But however, you're going through it again, but your body gonna be like, look, we understand what you're doing. However, your body gonna be like, however,
It's like, bitch, what were you thinking?
we got muscle memory. We know what this is. Like it's times like when we were in Vegas for Winston, and you know what I'm saying. I'm older, and I can drink because I don't drink a lot anyway. So I've never tried to just get stupid blackout drunk where I'm just like, let's keep going. I felt that moment where I've been drunk to the point where I felt that moment where I become a little voice in my own head who's trapped watching my body do shit that it shouldn't do. I'm like, yo, sit down. like stop moving because I'm that fucked up, and I'm like, I don't want to be at that point no more. So I'm gonna start handing out liquid IVs to people. Tell me some, you know what, this is safe. Trust me. Here, y'all gonna need this. They ain't even got to sober up fully, just enough so they can walk on their own. Because I'm not kidding, man. I've had to run into too many. If you throw up on me, I swear to God, I'm punching you in the face. Like those have been my big. Because like we have an
I'm
elevator.
not your parent. You're not a baby.
We have an elevator sometimes. So when people are super drunk, we don't have them walk down the stairs to get on the elevator. But we got to put a garbage can in the elevator because, like, we have our bar backs and stuff like that. Who was like, "Yo, we're not gonna just subject you to just keep cleaning, throw up all night." This is ugh.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
It's I choose to have fun at work in general because the job can be really either boring or stressful. You know, it's like if you're just standing around watching people just party and everything, you just like, ugh, this. It's like you're making it boring. I'll have a little fun at work. I don't care. You know, I'm here for like 4 hours, whatever. As long as I'm having a little fun, but I'm still responsible. I'm on my earpiece. I'm doing everything I need to do. All that, you know. Also, I get molested every week, so it happens. It's weird. I was just this is
Yeah, I think I remember you talking about that last time.
yeah. I was just telling
It's like,
somebody
what
about
the
it. Yeah,
fuck, lady? I don't know you.
this shit just happened last week. It was a there was this event. It's called Fat Yaki, whatever. Eric Benet, the R&B singer Eric Benet was the host, and like it's a kind of a more of a grown vibe, more older vibe, whatever. So it's always gonna be, you know, especially it's LA, so older vibes with stuff like soulful shit. Ain't gonna have just all black people. It's gonna be a diverse array of people. That's cool. I was walking around, like I think I told you, having my normal polo shirt on, just rolled up a little bit, so I'm comfortable. I can move. This kind of drunk middle-aged white lady was like, "Oh my god," and just started rubbing on my chest and arms, and I'm just giggling. She was like, "You're the most beautiful man I've ever seen. Thank you, ma'am." And I'm about to walk off, and she was walking and just turned around and grabbed me again. I was like, "Oh boy, boy! If this was reversed, I'd be in jail right now." Like that's all I keep thinking the whole time. And one of my coworkers was like, "Yo, what do you say about that?" I'm like, you know, I can't do nothing but just giggle because I'll admit I love the attention. I enjoy the attention, but at the same time, I understand the hypocrisy behind everything. If this was reversed and I'm a dude doing this shit to a woman, just randomly rubbing not just your arm, but literally your chest, like I'm catching all the hell.
Mm-hmm.
So besides all that, how's life been for you?
You know, it's pretty good. I'm excited about the podcast stuff, really. Moon Knight exists. I don't get it, but
Okay, all right, talk.
so like I've never been a Moon Knight fan of comics. I know of
Okay.
him as Marvel's Batman with DID and much
Mm-hmm.
more brutal.
Uh-huh.
Um, you know, Moon Khonshu may or may not exist, depending upon who's writing.
Right.
And like, it's like, all right, I get that they're like going away from the Batman comparisons in the TV show,
Mhm.
obviously, because like he's got magic powers. But then, like, I'm like, well, I kind of wish you did because we've never had a Batman on live action Batman like actually look and act and move like Batman from the
Mhm.
comics. And then like there's the weird stuff. I'm like, okay, does he only have powers when the suit's on? Because that doesn't make sense because he summons the suit himself. Therefore, that is a power that he has to summon the suit. And like the Stephen Grant of it, it's like weird. I'm like, yeah, but you're not real. We know that you're not the real person that was born and lived a life because Mark has a whole life beforehand. He's got marriage certificate. uh, he's got a mom that somebody else knows. So
Yeah.
like Stephen, you've only talked about your mom. We don't like once we realize that it's a DID thing and it's not like multiple multiverse people crammed into one. And then when like episode 3 came out, it's like, oh, I need this skill, so I better like switch to Steven. I'm like, oh, this is just Crazy Jane from Doom Patrol, and she did it way better.
Okay. You're probably the only other person who's made that comparison next to me. The way Jane can just switch the personalities, But I think the difference is for me, from what I've seen, Jane has always had this understanding with the people. Yo, this is what it is. Like, I'm the primary. The rest of y'all come when needed. Whereas in Moon Knight, we saw for some reason Steven had a control, and then like Mark tells at one point, he used to have control of it, but now it's like Steven is his own full-on aware personality.
Yeah,
Whereas,
I don't like, so the show is very much not for me. It's mostly boring to me.
okay,
Like, the first episode, that whole car chase was so boring,
you
and
didn't like that?
the CGI was just so bad too.
Really? To you,
Oh my god,
really?
yeah, like, if you rewatch that car chase scene, like, you can see, like, it's just, like, real bad CGI for a Disney show, for a Disney Marvel MCU show.
Okay.
And it's
But
just like,
also,
"Alright, yeah, there's a lot of green screen, okay." But it's like an old '50s movie where, like, they're just, like, doing the thing, and they've got the moving screen behind them.
well, I think it may now. This may be me. Depends on how whatever type of TV you're watching this on, or what type of screen you're watching it on. You can probably see it different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm, like, using, like, the HD thing, so obviously it's,
So that's probably again, if it's a higher definition television, you probably
most
see it.
TV this is filmed for HD though. Like, we're in 2022. They don't
Yeah,
film things for SD.
you never know. You never know.
Yeah, Disney's gonna film something for SD, you're right.
They're gonna pull a Quentin Tarantino and film something in 37 and 35 millimeter.
And, like, so one of the other issues that, like, they talk about, like, it's a darker, grittier Marvel show. I'm like, "Yeah, but they already did that with Daredevil, and Daredevil was great."
Well, you
Like,
got to remember when they say that Daredevil doesn't count.
I know it doesn't count, but still, it's
No, no,
on
I know
there.
what you mean. I
It's
know what you
still
mean.
on there on the service.
Well, now it is. Well, I think when they say it's a darker, grittier Marvel show than what Marvel Studios has done,
Yeah,
I think that little line, because I agree, I get what you're saying completely. People forget that people like Daredevil exists, and it's like, yeah, but Daredevil wasn't created by Marvel Studios,
yeah,
you
but,
know.
like, and it's just like, I don't care about Steven. There's not you they cannot make me care about him at this point. 'Cause, like, I'm like, "You should have went all in on action with Mark Spector and then, like, done the, like, the weird craziness."
There's somebody else. There's another one.
Yeah, yeah, like, cause they said, "Who is that?" And with the question's whether or not it's the Jake guy, Jake Lockley, or whatever his name
It might
is.
be the Jake one. It might be.
I mean, that's the name from the comics, like, he's just
Yeah.
Gabby in the comics, and I'll tell you, the most I've ever learned about Moon Knight was I was running a role-playing game of Worldwide Wrestling, where, but I was doing it in, like, we're all playing comic book characters.
Hmm.
In this world, you wrestle instead of, like, getting actual supervillain fights, and so, like, just, like, and somebody's like, "Alright, I'll be Moon Knight." And then, like, all of a sudden, he just comes down and he's, like, talking like a New York cabbie and, like, "Nah, I'm Jake Lockley." I'm like, "Who the fuck's Jake Lock?" Somebody else at the table also doesn't do Moonlight, and they're going on Wikipedia. I'm like, "Yeah, this is a Moon Knight thing, apparently." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
You're just all of a sudden like, what the fuck is happening? Wait. Oh, that's yeah. I didn't. I knew of Moon Knight. I I knew of Moon Knight for a while.
Yeah, like, I've read, like, one '90s comic where, like, his thing is, he's got the cool white spandex suit with the flowy cape and the
Mhm.
hood, and all of his weapons are made out of adamantium. I'm like, "Well, that's not gonna work because MCU is afraid of, like, anything comic book related."
Well, the thing is, I think everything changes after the second. I mean, the seventh, whatever Doctor Strange drops.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
it's yeah.
because if that's either way it goes, it's Stewart or McAvoy. It's one of the two, regardless, right?
Mhm.
So it's one of the two, regardless. But once that happens, that changes everything. And if they brought back Anson Mount as Black Bolt to be on the Illuminati
That
panel,
would be I would feel bad for Anson Mount. Like, "Do you really wanna do this, Anson Mount?" I'm like, if they pay me for a cameo, sure, but who no one would be excited for that."
probably three people total in the world.
Like, I love Anson Mount. Blackagar Boltigan is fine at best, but that show is trash.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody be like, yeah, listen, if you prove to me you redeemed him from that shit, then
Like,
maybe.
and of the May things that Anson Mount wants to be known for, it's not get Black Bolt. It's Captain Pike.
And it's damn sure not Black Bolt from that Inhumans.
Yeah.
Again, but that's the thing too. That's an interesting thing because I think a lot of these actors, knowing now Marvel has it, Marvel Studios has it, shall I say, and seeing Marvel Studios' track record, when they get an opportunity to reprise certain roles, they're like, I might get redemption. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe we'll see. I don't
Think
know.
about it. Andrew Garfield, like, I don't know how you feel about this. After Spider-Man No Way Home came out, you
Yeah,
kept
people are
having
talking about an Amazing Spider-Man 3.
right. And I'm like,
And here's my feelings on it because I listen to your show. I'm like,
mm,
look, I would love to see Andrew Garfield play Spider-Man again if they want to make another movie. Just don't use a different director and writer. That's it.
you can't use Mark Webb because if you use Mark Webb, then you're gonna be like, wait, what happened? You wanted the same dude to do the third one. You
Yeah,
wanted this.
that's what people are saying. Like they just want Andrew Garfield to get justice. Like I don't think the the fans that are crying for more Andrew Garfield are not crying for more Mark Webb because they're like, wow, he was so great in No Way Home.
Well, again, I hope that
And it's an actor that loved the character so
yes, and I
much.
get it, and I hope that be the case. I'm fine with it. But again, Marvel Studios gives his character redemption, right?
Mhm.
You have other ones for some people may not have liked Evan Peters as Quicksilver in the second X-Men franchise. Some people may not have. But to an extent, when he popped up in WandaVision, it gave him a little bit of redemption.
Fucking Mark Boner or something.
The Ralph Boner,
So
yeah,
dumb.
it was just the greatest red herring ever.
Yeah.
Like, because to watch the internet be mad over something you
Yeah,
weren't,
WandaVision writers love like, hey, hey, you think you know things.
you think
We gotcha.
you think yeah. Oh, that's what you think is happening? Okay. Like, I remember, like, so I got a buddy who works, I got two buddies who work one who works at Marvel Studios and one who works on visual effects for like pretty much everything Marvel does. And he's worked on everything for Doctor Strange. I was like, oh, everything? He was like, yeah, I did like 95% of the visual effects. I said, so sit down for a second. I was like, so how you gotta have that. So tell me. I was like,
And
listen.
pull up the NDA, like, no, I cannot.
Oh, wait, we're literally sitting there. And he's just like, I said, man, we ain't got to get loud with this conversation. Okay. I said we can bring this down a couple decibels. I just need to know. I literally was like, I just want to know. Just answer one thing for me. One thing. He was like, and he didn't say that. So I was like, okay, I take that as an ask question. When somebody don't say that to you, you're like, I'm gonna ask the question here. I was like, is it McAvoy or Stewart? That's all I need to know. Because like it wouldn't surprise me if it's McAvoy's face, Stewart's voice. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. He was like, I'm not telling you nothing. I said, so what are we even talking about now? You know what I'm saying? I started getting upset almost. I was like, why am I getting mad?
He didn't promise you anything.
They promised me nothing, but here I am about to get mad because you're not divulging information that I want. I was like, so McAvoy and Stewart. He was like, he did tell me one of the reasons. So I found out that Derrickson's original Doctor Strange 2 and this sounds weird to me. Derrickson's was supposedly darker than what Raimi has done.
Well,
And
like,
now,
didn't he want to do a horror movie?
right, that's what I'm saying. He wanted to do a horror movie, but like they said, Raimi still has some of the horror elements. That's why they brought Sam Raimi on, because he would know how to keep the horror
See,
feel.
the question you should have asked is, who does Bruce Campbell play?
You know what? I kind of
Because if Bruce Campbell's not in this, that's upsetting.
is it upsetting, or is it the
Yes,
greatest
it is
trolling ever?
upsetting.
Or is it the greatest trolling ever by
No,
Bruce
because he
Campbell?
was already cut out of the old West movie where his car is in it.
Is it, or is it the greatest troll him just putting up a fake script page and just everybody be like, oh my God, wait, what? Like, if it's again, it Toby Maguire's in it, so it would not surprise me.
Oh, I didn't
It,
know that.
yeah,
Okay.
you
I don't really pay attention to a lot of the Doctor Strange stuff. I saw the trailers. Or I
well,
saw a
no, because they were
trailer.
like because of Raimi, because Toby was
Yeah, that
saying he was
makes
doing
sense, you know?
because of Raimi, and so but again, if Bruce Campbell's in it, but I did hear that Derrickson wanted to use somebody that Marvel Studios was like, we don't think people are ready for that yet. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, word.
I was like, I wonder who.
Oh, I know who. He told me who. I,
Okay.
again, this is the one-on-one with Supervillain. I
Yeah.
don't care. Brother Voodoo.
Okay. I can understand why the many reasons to not use that character.
There are a lot of he was like, I don't think they is that the Marvel Studios was like, I don't think they're ready for Brother Voodoo. I
I
was
don't
like, yeah, because you're going if you
I don't
already
trust a lot of white people with a character named Brother Voodoo.
bingo. Also, think about this. The last thing you need, who knew how months down the line we're gonna play out. But the way shit is in Florida with dude having his warpath against Disney, the last thing you need is a black character named Brother Voodoo and them talking about how Marvel don't have Christian values, Disney don't have Christian values and trying to corrupt children, et cetera, all
God, I
that
wish they
bullshit.
were. MCU needs to be like 50% hornier. It is like I
You
know we
could
disagree on this, I think, but like DC, they are willing to bring horniness to like a great level. MCU is like the most like yes, Eternals had a sex scene, but it's like there's no chemistry or like passion.
well, DC, what you got to think about it. DC is always that's just been the thing with DC Comics in general.
Are you sure compared to Marvel comics? Because
Or DC
X-Men is a Marvel comic.
I'm sorry, DC movies. I'm sorry, let me be
Okay.
more specific. DC movies and TV
Okay.
shows. Because never
I
forget
mean,
Batman
Batman
Returns.
Returns. Yeah.
Batman Returns is the
Hell, no,
horniest.
no. That's not even the horniest. Julie Newmar and Adam West are the horniest. Like they set the bar. Batman Returns came close, but Julie Newmar is still like peak horny,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. See,
and that was on television
you were
in the
like, ma'am, are
'60s.
you trying to fuck the bat
Yeah,
in Technicolor? Like that's you're trying to fuck the in
she
Technicolor.
100% is. Yeah, and she
In
will kill Robin
Technicolor.
to do it.
Yeah. Because like I will never forget Danny DeVito, just the pussy I was looking for. I said,
Fucking wild insanity.
I was like 13 or 14 because it came out like 93. And I remember hearing, just the pussy I was looking for. And I was like,
Yeah, like
did anybody
even
else say this?
even Batman the animated series, like Catwoman's super horny for Batman. Like they don't shy away from it at
So
all.
yeah, so DC never has shied away. Now, don't get me wrong. We got the lovers triangle in the X-Men, where again, it depends on which X-Men you look at. Either Wolverine's a cuck, or Cyclops is the cuck, or 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 you just have Wolverine being a really creepy dude who won't let a relationship live. Like, here's the thing I've always
They're
maybe
a
I missed it.
throuple now, so it's okay, right?
They're a throuple now, right?
Or a
Because
rhombus. I don't know. Emma's involved in part of them, I think.
my thing is like, did they ever have Wolverine fuck Jean, or was he just like in love stalking Jean?
Who knows? Like, I don't think they ever really detail it in comics.
But you get what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah, no, I get it.
you knew that Scott and Jean were together because they made sure to tell you this is a child. These are children of theirs. You know what I'm saying? They would do things to let you know kids came, y'all, and not just from mutants. They came by babies. Like they let you know things like
They're
that
future
happen.
babies, though, so it
Future
doesn't
babies
count.
with a technovirus, but that's a whole nother thing we're dealing
Fucking
with.
Cable.
A future baby with a technovirus. It is what it is. Who the moment they bring him back, he is like set. They bring Cable back, and he is just as old as his daddy, which no one ever talked about that. If they brought Cable back, if you told me Cable came back from the future, right? And Cable was actually 27 years old, but he looked like that. How rough is life in the future?
It's not good, Jay. X-Men futures are never good.
The most bleak shit ever. Like again, why
It'd be
can't
a real boring story if everything was great and he just came back.
I just wanted to see my parents? Like, okay, like what if?
I mean, that's basically Flash season 5, right? That's when Nora comes back. I want to meet my dad.
I have been trying to rewatch. I got to catch up on episodes of this season, and I know now that I know that they're probably going to short the next season because I don't know if you saw. They said already, like, yeah, because 9 is it. That's it, right? So they
Okay.
were already like,
All I want
just,
is Legends back.
and they still haven't announced it.
I know. It's so upsetting.
I think they're trying to figure out what they're going to do because like Katie Lotz is going to do it at this point. Just McCall. I think the thing is, do they have enough? Because they built the show so
They
much.
have a whole plan for Booster Gold.
That's hey,
They brought Donald Faison in for one episode currently.
and
They have
made sure
plans for
you
more.
and made sure they referenced him on the Flash.
Yeah, they sure did.
Made sure they referenced him as Booster Gold on the Flash. So it's weird because everybody was like, they haven't announced that. They haven't announced Batwoman.
Yeah, like Batwoman, we're in the same thing. Like we knew they'd get after Ruby left. We were like, all right, they're getting 2 more seasons.
We said,
Then we'll see what happens.
yeah, and
I
everybody
think
was
the
like,
show is better, but that's like because like a lot of the acting is good. The writing is still like
it's still right. The acting only goes, writing is one thing, and it's like, all right, we're gonna turn Mary into Poison Ivy. We're gonna do all these. That's the only thing with certain shows.
yeah. Like my issue with Batwoman is like you could just use the original villain, right? Like can't you do that? They can't all be dead, right? No, like yeah, this is easier probably. I'm like actually I don't know.
I'm probably gonna end up. I don't know yet, unless somebody else gets her. I might end up interviewing Rachel Scarson in Salt Lake City. If I don't get her, I'm getting Vincent D'Onofrio. I'm making him
Those are 2 great interviews. So
because they'll be on a panel. They give me Vincent D'Onofrio. I swear to Christ, I will do whatever's in my power to own a all white suit to take that to do that interview. Give me an all white suit with a purple vest, just so I can have it for that moment.
yeah,
I
I
just want
mean,
to be able to be there at that moment, just to be like, "How you doing?" I just want to say how much of a I want because that's the thing though. Like when I go to Salt Lake City to FanX, they give me a lot of the because again, there's their regulars in Salt Lake City who get their picks first and foremost. I get it, but when they realized how good I am and how much I can pull, I don't have to have the regular questions. I don't have to have the so. What made you want to get into this? Besides saying you needed a paycheck, like things like that.
mhm.
And when they realize, oh, you get people to talk and you get people involved and everything, it's like, yeah, because I know what the hell I'm doing.
Mm.
And I remember I was supposed to get Palm Clementif, but she had lost her voice.
Oh,
She had lost her
yeah.
voice.
Yeah,
She was,
that'll end an interview real quick.
yeah, they was, you can't talk and she don't speak sign language. So I got her, and then I remember I got Asher Angel. So yeah, Salt Lake, and then plus it's Salt Lake City is kind of a cool place. It's still Utah. So
Yeah, it's Utah. I know that much.
it's one of those things. It's like I was just talking to somebody last night. I was at the comedy club, and one of my buddies was like, "Why didn't you go to Dallas for Mania?" I was like, "Cause it's Texas. Cause it's Texas, and it's COVID. Like COVID is still a thing.
Mhm.
Like I can guarantee you that people be like, oh, well, you ain't heard nothing about the numbers go up. I said, here's the problem. People have at-home tests. When they test at home, those numbers don't get reported.
It's true. Very true.
You know what I'm saying? Those numbers don't get reported. So
Like we're definitely in a better state than we were, but we're not
fair.
like perfect. Like we'll never be there because who knows? Because people don't want to get vaccinated. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
That's why New York has 2 new variants.
Yeah, look, this is the new normal. And that's just how it is.
But you know what? And it's and I agree with you the exact way you said it, and especially with the That's the way I agree 100% the way you said it. But the problem behind that is it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, look, I mean, I agree with you. If people
No,
would
no,
get
no, yeah.
vaccinated, and if like certain people would shut their mouths about like Evangeline Lilly, like this is, are you saying not getting vaccinated is pro-choice? Because that is a buck wild assertion, ma'am.
I really have hated. I think I don't even give a shit if you work on Marvel, DC, the news, sports. I really have hated how people have conflated the term pro-choice to something that the only reason they're doing it is because it's a very big political thing. It's the
It's
only reason.
it's nonsense bullshit. I hate it.
It's so people like, oh,
What is
my
up
body,
with
my choice. Like
like
that's not what this is.
the two characters I love from these movies? I'm like, oh, the actors suck. Like Shuri and Hope. I'm like, I love these characters. Ah, well, maybe.
Well, like I said, it's the thing I said on on Mad Titan. You can't convince me that neither Evangeline Lilly, because I didn't bring her up, but Letitia Wright nor Evangeline Lilly didn't get vaccinated
I feel
because
like they had to have been like
they had to.
forced.
They had to. There. So I do know for a fact on what is the show? I think it's Seal and Navy SEAL or whatever it is on NBC on CBS with David Boreanaz. I know he's anti-vax, but it's CBS, and so they let him just do the whole. You don't have to get vaccinated. You just got to test every single day, like nonstop. So he didn't get vaccinated. I know for a fact. I've heard that from numerous people who worked on that show. He didn't get vaccinated. They just did the thing. They let him, go around it.
And was this just a rumor that like Black Panther 2 production shut down a couple times because of COVID?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, it wasn't a rumor. It was true.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I'm like, all right, was it a rumor or was it true? Because like literally, like I'm in agreement. These people aren't going to lose their jobs unless it costs the studio money, and like production shutdowns presumably cost the studio money. So that's the only way I could ever see like one of them recast is like you cost us X amount of money while we were filming.
But also, both movies are done.
Yeah,
That's
but
another thing.
yeah, now they're done. But like
And
in
that
the
was the thing too about
future,
Evangeline Lilly. She started talking once it was wrapped.
oh, okay, well,
That was
I
the
guess
one
you're
thing I
smart.
noticed about her. She didn't say shit until after Ant-Man and the Wasp was wrapped with principle. Like anything that need to do like reshoots, that is not a big deal. Principal photography was wrapped.
Yeah,
Then she started talking shit.
yeah, she
Letitia
was
Wright,
smarter.
she was
Oh,
smarter. Letitia Wright, she was in the middle of literally, she was in the middle of the lockdown period when she retweeted her thing. So they were still in the writing and trying to figure logistics out phase. But also, you with Black Panther shutdown, they film in Atlanta. Georgia itself, COVID didn't happen. COVID never happened. So no matter how much people tested,
it's like
no matter
Turkey and the Armenian genocide.
literally, I mean, hate to, for those who may understand, don't get the analogy, but to them, COVID never happened.
That's
Atlanta, Atlanta stayed moving the whole time like it was nothing, while people were dropping fucking dead.
it's fucking baffling. I don't. There's nothing to say. It's just like so tired with bullshit.
It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So like, yeah, but before I get ready to get up out of here, any plans coming up? Anything major?
Um,
That's the podcast.
so I'm going away the end of the month for like a fun gaming weekend. I mean, just like we got to record a bunch of episodes so I can like have them saved up so I can start releasing them weekly. That's the
Mhm.
plan. But then we're like debating like, because streaming or StreamYard, you could just stream live to YouTube. I'm like, should we do that? And then just download, then like release the podcast later. But basically it's like finding right now I'm looking at rss.com to be the host,
Mhm.
I guess. So I don't know. It's
Go to
looking
Anchor.
into an audio host.
Anchor.fm is free.
Oh, anchor.fm.
Mhm.
Free is good.
Anchor.fm is free. That's what I have that host Blurds.
All right then. Free is better than money. So
I know that's right. So, but yeah, now that we know that and everything you got going on, tell the people how they can find that when it drops, whatever else you got going on when you're streaming, et cetera, et cetera.
all right. Yeah, you could follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Divas of Design. Nice and to the point. You could email submissions to divas of design pod at gmail.com. You know, we want like 3 images plus backups. Just make sure you have the images because like otherwise, like if somebody says Spider-Man, I'm like, he's had a lot of costumes over the years. So like,
Yeah.
yeah. Most of them are great. So on YouTube, I think it's at Divas of it should be at Divas of Design Pod or at Divas of Design. Let me pull up my Gmail stuff because it's
Hmm.
connected to that. So Divas of Design Pod at Gmail. The YouTube channel is should have been prepared for this. Your channel. Yeah, Divas of Design. No subscribers. Obviously, we don't have anything. So
Okay, cool, cool. Just
it's
want to
nice
make
and
sure.
simple. Maybe like we searched no hits for it, so I'm like, all right, this is our name, and it's my tribute to the Dungeon of Doom. So
Oh,
yep, one of the first things we ranked the Yeti. Yeah, it's a terrible design. I love it.
I now I got to think about old WCW days because of this now.
Yeah, the Yeti.
Oh my God. We can talk about that. Y'all already know Twitter, Instagram, and Mr. J Washington, TikTok as well. Also, as always, I'm going to keep saying June 18th, Saturday, June 18th, the live Blurs in the Hood in LA. Get your tickets at shptickets.com, shptickets.com. Y'all already know where to find me. So I will holler at y'all next time. Don't go nowhere. Take care. I'm out. Bye.